Hello people of YouTube, my name is Brad. This is my channel, Adamant Orange, and this week in 3D metal model news. Bit of an odd time to be alive right now with the coronavirus, this COVID-19 going around the world. In lots of different countries they're having trouble. I don't want to turn this video into a topic about COVID-19, but the reality is it's affecting us all. It's in the US now. We've got a lot of states doing mandatory closing of non-essential services. That's what's occurring here in Pennsylvania, where I live. It's occurring in a lot of other places. There's definitely panic going on. Again, I don't want to debate and make this the topic of today's video. There's certainly people that are possibly overreacting, and there's people that are possibly underreacting. But anyway, what an interesting time to be alive, and here I am talking about Metal Earth models, or 3D metal models from Fascinations on their website. Nothing has changed. They did do a giveaway on Twitter yesterday, where they were basically saying, with COVID-19 going on, to try and cheer everybody up, we're going to do a giveaway and give out some free models. They said they were going to announce the winners at 10 today, which my time, it's after 10 o'clock. I'm recording this actually about 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. They are, of course, on Pacific time. So it's not 10 o'clock for them yet. And by the time I record, and by the time I'm done recording, editing, and uploading this video, by the time it comes out, they'll probably have already made their announcement. Whether or not they're going to do another contest and give away more models, I do not know. But I think there is a decent chance, since it was like a 24-hour period, they may do several in a row, possibly. So keep an eye out. I'm not going to post the current contest because, again, by the time this video comes out, it's going to be over. Winners are probably going to be announced. But keep an eye out on Metal Earth Twitter page or Fascinations Twitter page if you're interested in getting some models, because for those of you who are like me and stuck at home because of the ban on gathering in public, on basically trying to reduce the infection and spread of COVID-19 here in the United States, a lot of people are stuck at home, and you could have a model to build. And along those lines, one of the things that I do kind of want to bring up, if you are able, if you have the money, you want to get a model to work on now that you are at home and have some time to work on these things, might I suggest looking out for maybe a local hobby shop that can mail order or deliver. The main one that comes to mind is At Play Toys. At Play Toys is in, I believe, California. They also have an outdoor market, or they had an outdoor market. I think they moved into a building. Anyway, their market is shut down, so they're not able to sell any of their products, but they are still able to sell products online. And right now they're offering free shipping for any Metal Earth models, so definitely take advantage of that. One of the things about Metal Earth is it's all about small groups, small businesses, small companies. Fascinations itself, my understanding is it's just a handful of people working there, and a lot of the retailers out there who sell it in their hobby shops, they're small businesses and small shops, and definitely getting hit hard at a time like this when they can't open their front door. So if you know of a local hobby shop that's selling these models and you want to get one, I encourage you to support them in this time, especially if it's a situation like At Play Toys, where you can order online and have it shipped to you and stay in the relative safety of your own home. It helps to support them and keep them in business, so we can all continue to enjoy these 3D metal models even after this has passed. And I also welcome any smaller model shops out there who are trying to sell online because their storefronts are closed. On social media, if you want to tag me, I have all of my media accounts listed in the description down below. Feel free to tag me and see if I can't share your online stores and whatever specials you're having, because I know this is a tough time for small businesses during this shutdown. I feel like I'm rambling. I hope that makes sense, and I hope everyone is doing well and taking care of themselves. It's a very concerning time, and again, I don't want to spend a lot of time on the subject of the COVID-19 pandemic that's going on. My heart goes out to those that are affected, and I hope everyone is doing their best to keep themselves and others safe. I know one of the things that concerns me, I'm going to try and stop at this, is I know there are a lot of people are not afraid. It's just a cold, it's just a bug. A lot of healthy people are not concerned, and that's cool. I'm glad you're not concerned. Do keep in mind there are people out there that are at higher risk and they are concerned. I happen to be one of those people with the health issues that I have had. It makes me a lot more likely to end up in the hospital if something were to spread and come my way. And if it's just a handful of people in the hospital and staff can handle it, that's one thing. But if it gets to a point where the hospitals are overloaded and can't take care of anybody, that's what this shutdown, that's what a lot of these shutdowns are trying to avoid. Trying to avoid tons of people getting it at the same time and overwhelming your hospital, because once we get to that point, it's very bad news. Anyway, I'm going to move on from that because, again, I don't want to turn this into that sort of debate. Try to take care of yourselves out there. Shop, act reasonable and responsible, and look after yourself and try to look after others as well if you can. And in your time at home, build another model and share it online. Moving on from that, Piececool doesn't have anything new, but the previously talked about models, the Chime bells and the Moire Copper Ban. I have to look at my notes because I've changed the name like 2 or 3 times now, I think. Both of those models are showing up on Aliexpress. I found them on, I think, 3 different stores. I'm going to try and put links. I'm going to put links in the description down below. But we have the Chime bells, which I'm pretty sure everybody knows what I'm talking about when I say Chime bells. There's a lot more to the name than that. I think Microworld had a version out previously. Now Piececool has a version out. It's available online at like New York Model Store, Magical Model Store, somewhere else. And then we also have the Bronze Jin with cloud design, which was previously known as just the Copper Ban or Moire Copper Ban. That is also available from the same 3 stores, possibly other places, but I'll put the links that I found it at in the description down below. Interestingly enough, I found on Aliexpress, I happened to find a store selling metal head models. And I'm a little bit excited about that. Not for me personally, but I know there are people out there who enjoy these models and try to find them, and they can be difficult to find. They kind of come and go. And the metalhead models, my understanding is that they're knockoffs of Metal Earth, but they're knockoffs that have been painted. Like there's a company that buys the knockoffs and then paints them and then sells them with the added value. So they're still pretty inexpensive, a little more expensive than the inexpensive, but they look pretty neat because they are fully covered. And I found a number of them on one particular store. I'm going to put the link to that store in the description down below. I'm not going to put links to the individual models because who knows how long they'll actually stay available. The store is called Super Nautilus Store, and there's a lot of different colored models, and they're not all clearly marked where they're from, but some of them are marked either in the picture, possibly the description, as being metalhead models. And if you go to the Metal Earth subreddit and do a search for metalhead, there are a number of posts from, I think, mostly one person, but a few other people that have bought them, and there's a little bit of information about them. They can be a little bit tricky to build because they are knockoffs, so the metal quality isn't as good, and there's at least one of the posts that I read talked like the paint might flake off kind of easily, but those people thought it was worth it for the amount of detail that was on older models, especially Star Wars models, because the older Star Wars models, like they're not all painted. A lot of them are just silver. I found R2-D2, I found the X-Wing, I found K2SO, I found the TIE Fighter, I found both snow speeders, both the classic snow speeder from the second movie and the newer one that was cut from the more recent movie. Found Optimus Prime and Soundwave. There's also a Lunar Rover and a few others. Again, I'll put the link to that store if you want to go check it out yourself. If those metalhead colored models are something you're very much into, go check that out. Who knows how long they will last. My understanding is they have a few out, they sell out, and then they disappear for a while. And I just happened to find them, so I was kind of excited. So moving on from that pretty much brings us to the topic of the week. Last week's topic, I kind of rambled on about how Metal Earth models have been slowly getting more detailed and more complicated and more involved. And on one hand, that's really fantastic. I've certainly heard a lot of people in the past complain about, you know, the Metal Earth models are cool, but I want something more challenging. Where should I look? And the Metal Earth seems to be responding with more challenging models. On the other hand, it does make it difficult for people getting into this hobby. If things are more difficult, it's possible that it might get too difficult for some of the people that are into this hobby. One of my concerns, so I asked, how do you feel about it? I asked people how they felt about the direction that Metal Earth seems to be going, and I got quite a few responses on this question. I'm going to read them here. Vicky P. I'm pretty concerned about how complex the models are getting. It alienates new builders. Just about all the new models need tools, and newcomers are always ready to invest in tools, and household objects don't cut it. And while I love detail, complex models, I'm not always in the mood for it. At the same time, I don't want to build the older, simpler models because they're just not that interesting. And that pretty much reflects what I was saying. It's fantastic for the people that are craving more complicated models. This seems like it would, these newer models, especially Star Wars models, seems like they would satisfy. However, are we leaving behind the people that are newer, who are going to be more easily discouraged from ever building another Metal Earth model? We do still have some older models, but are they that interesting? Should Metal Earth be coming out with newer, simple models to attract more people in the hobby? And I think that's where the Legends models were supposed to fit in, but they didn't do well. So I guess, where's that balance? Kevin T. First of all, I really respect you for not playing the victim in the challenges you have overcome. I wish you the best and hope your health improves and continues to improve. Your videos are fun for me to watch, and like others have said, you kind of cost me a bit of money, but it's worth it. But it's all been worth it. As for the more challenging builds, I'm embracing it and continuing to look for models to push my abilities. Thank you again for your efforts, and keep on keeping on. Fantastic. Kevin T is definitely one of the people that's been looking for more challenging models, and these newer models definitely satisfy. And thank you for your comments. My health is doing, for the most part, pretty good. I'll come back to that. Brandon, take care of yourself first, Brad. We, parentheses I, in parentheses, can wait for you to return. We can't have an Animate Orange without you. As for the question, I think Metal Earth is slightly on the heavy side, but there is an abundance of easy and moderate models out there that it's not overwhelming. So it would appear that Brandon feels that some of the easier models that are still out there balance out the more complicated ones, and I'd like to think that that is the case. John Finnegan Jr. Hi Brad. Firstly, hope the kidney situation turns out well. Good luck on job hunting. Funny you mentioned the Kickstarter Time for Machine. I'm in the same boat as you. I never received package, but got the same email as you. I backed the Heavenly Hercules. As for Metal Earth, I like seeing the kits with more detail and paint, as long as the price doesn't get out of hand. But they should also keep the simpler kits for newcomers to the hobbies. Thanks for the videos. Time for Machine, after that email I haven't heard anything new. Who knows how situations in the world are going to affect that. Can only hope and keep on waiting. Thank you for the well wishes on my health. And yeah, I do hope that Metal Earth does continue to put out some of the simpler models to keep newcomers and people who are still new at the models interested in building these models. Christopher Thorpe. Hi Brad, good luck in the job hunt and with your health, first of all. As for the models getting more complex, I personally am all for it. Having done a couple big complex builds recently, I've got to say I really enjoy the added challenge. Only word of caution is for Metal Earth to maybe look into entry-level models again, just to start building up future customer base. So pretty much the same things that I've already read and already commented on, finding that balance. Shane Stribley. Hi Brad, thanks for the update. First thing is, I wish you all the best with your health. I'm sure you will do well. Also, I hope the job search is rewarding for you. This week's topic, I've always been a slow builder because I like to focus on really good looking models when I finish. This is the reason I love building very delicate and challenging kits. I think the newest Metal Earth stuff is very cool. My best wishes. Cheers from down under. And again, Thanks for the well wishes. I'm thrilled that I'm reading more and more comments about people that are excited about the more detailed and complex model. And I certainly respect, Shane, that you take the time to get the most detail out of your builds. I kind of waver back and forth between that. I do that sometimes, but then sometimes I'm like, I really want to finish this build and get it over with and do my video. And that's just a product of how I set things up because I'm making videos of it. BB88, Brad, thank you for all you've done for this hobby. We all enjoy your videos and my wallet absolutely hates you for it. Over 100 models now and more on the way, I'm sure. Good luck with the job search and keep feeling well. And hashtag Animate Orange, hashtag keep on keeping on. Once again, thank you for the well wishes. Next thing you know, you'll have 200 models and start losing count. Tizama, I absolutely enjoy the challenges of taking days to finish a 100+ piece 3-sheeter. And I like doing the single sheet builds when I feel like grabbing instant results. With only 30 builds under my belt, I have the option of picking earlier models when I want a simple build, and I'd miss that if all my builds were limited to the more intricate new releases. So yes, it'd be good to see new models which can be done in an hour or so. Maybe the easiest way Metal Earth could bring this about would be to add color to older models. Their airplanes and insects would look great with paint, and they'd sell to newcomers and old salts who'd like to do better looking rebuilds. That's a really good idea, and I don't know why I didn't think of that. The possibility of going back and recoloring some of the older models. Just maybe recolor the entire insect line and release that. And then later on maybe recolor the tank line or something like that. That's a pretty interesting idea. Battlement. Regarding the increased complexity of the models, I generally think it's a good thing, as more complex generally means a higher level of detail. As a new builder, 2020 also got started by Star Wars line. I'm extremely supportive of their new models that are painted, as this adds another layer of detail that is visually pleasing without increasing the complexity of the build. However, that I can understand people prefer the unpainted models, as I feel that is what people envision as a metal model. Maybe Metal Earth should separate their product line into 3 branches. A classic line that are unpainted models with a simple to moderate complexity, the regular Metal Earth line which are painted models with simple to moderate complexity, and the premium line, formerly Iconics, which should be reserved for the very complex, preferably painted sets. Thanks for everything, Brad. That is an interesting strategy there as well. Maybe, hopefully, somebody from Metal Earth will see this video and take those suggestions for what they're worth. Who knows? That may be an interesting and helpful strategy. John V. Good luck on the job hunt. As for models for the ladies, I imagine a Nightmare Before Christmas could be successful. I would build Jack for my wife, maybe a 0. The frame is not too unlike K2SO. The colors on the new models make me think that they would look really good. Lock, shock, and barrel, the mayor, that would be a good change of pace from Star Wars and Marvel. I know, still licensed, but most girls I meet love NBC. Another interesting idea. I wonder how they would work out as Metal Earth models. That's something to think about. The comments this week are just absolutely fantastic. Richard Kroll. Personally, I prefer the more complex models. The more detail, the better for me. I am currently working on Piececool's Southern Gate model. I figured I've invested 20 hours on it so far. I am nearly done, but for a while there, it seems like the parts were never ending. 12 large sheets. When finished, it is going to be quite something. I would imagine. Piececool's Southern Gate. I'm trying to picture that one in my head. There's so many Piececool models I want to do, but there's already so many Metal Earth models that I'm working on. There's so much out there, and every now and then I hate that I'm having to take the time to make videos because it slows me down. But at the same time, the break in making videos keeps me from getting burnt out on just building models, if that makes any sense. And kind of going back to a comment that I read earlier, I should have mentioned after that about being able to switch to an easier model to get a break from the hard ones. I used to do that. I used to very much do that when I was making these videos. I would do a more challenging model followed by an easier model. That's oftentimes when I would work in a Legends model and then go back to something that took 2, 3, 4 hours and then work in a Legends model. And switching back and forth helped me from getting overwhelmed with nothing but more complicated models, especially at a time when I still felt like I had a lot to learn. But it also allowed me to, at that time, to put out a couple of videos a week, build videos more easily, because there was one long model that I spent a lot of time building, a lot of time editing, but one easy model that just I could throw out really quick. So it kind of helped balance my time. I liked it at the time. I'm not really doing it now because there's so many fantastic new models coming out with so much complexity that there's very little time to go back to something easy. But who knows, maybe I'll return to that strategy in the future. Not sure about right now, because right now I have a very big Decepticon leg on my table that I got to work through first. So R404A, I ordered the silver bullet from Time for Machine, and it was shipped the day after my order by DHL. And bad luck leaving the USA and not from Ukraine or China. Result, I will probably pay import taxes. These models look very cool. The train tempts me to. It's huge, and others too, but I would not order from them directly, but a reseller in Ukraine on eBay. Faster and no taxes. For France. No, did the exclamation wrong on that. But I would not order them directly, but from a reseller in Ukraine or eBay for faster and no taxes for France. Very glad your health is better, and good luck with your job search. So thanks again, everyone, for well wishes on my health and job search. I have heard that while a lot of us who did the Kickstarter are still waiting for our models, not Metal Earth, but Time for Machine has begun to sell some of their other models to keep, I guess, the company going. So unfortunately, people can order and get their models pretty quickly now, their Time for Machine models. And I have seen some stuff pop up on Aliexpress, but I've hesitated to mention it. I don't think it's associated with Time for Machine, but I really should ask. I really should take the time to send them an email and ask if some of the stuff that I'm seeing on Aliexpress is associated with them, or if is what always happens is the designs have been taken and are being copied and sold at a, I don't know if it's a cheaper price or not. The good thing about doing the Kickstarter is we got these things at a cheaper price. The bad thing is it's taking forever for some of us to get them, like myself. But thanks everyone for the well wishes. I mentioned in the last video, it looks like my kidneys are getting better, and they have done one test where I went without dialysis for a few days, and the blood results came back very encouraging. The results didn't change much, very little. There was a debate about whether or not they should just say you're good on your own or give it another test, and we've arrived at the conclusion that we're going to do another test to be sure, and I greatly respect that. Since I've already been through a fair amount, I am on these anti-rejection meds that are hard on the kidneys. I have gone through a heart transplant, and I don't want to take any chances, so we're still continuing to test things to be extra sure, but it does look like things are on the improving side. As far as the job hunt is going, it is mostly at a standstill. I am working on a resume and aiming for one job in particular, simply because they still have a deadline and I want to get in before that deadline. However, with my city being shut down, all non-essential services being shut down, I doubt I'll get a call back on anything right now. With the exception, there's probably some jobs I could go for out there in the retail market, maybe. But I'm also a little bit hesitant to push too far right now until some of this is blown over, because I don't want to put myself out there, since I'm a high-risk individual with having a heart transplant, having immunosuppressed system because of the anti-rejection meds. And honestly, one of the things that I understand it affects is the kidneys, and my kidneys, while working better, there's still that high chance that this could seriously impact them. And I'm always thinking of the worst case scenario. Right now I'm hanging in there and still moving forward, and obviously still have time for this video and hopefully some time to get some builds out while everyone's sitting at home. I'm surprised at how little time I've actually been able to spend on builds because I don't know if you heard that sound. That's my phone. Someone's texting me. I've spent a remarkable amount of time texting and talking on the phone and talking on the internet with friends because I'm afraid to go to anyone's house right now. I'm afraid to get out there just for my own protection and my kids' protection. So there's a tremendous amount of increase in communication with friends on the phone, with family on the phone. How are you doing? Checking in with people, because that's absolutely something I'm doing. Encourage other people to do the same. Take the time, if you have it, to check in on your friends and family. See how they're doing. That's what I've been doing. I've been messaging people that I care about just to talk with them, to see how they're doing and how things are going where they are. And I don't regret it. It's taken a lot of time out of my day, but I absolutely do not regret it. Everybody take care of yourselves out there. I've never been through anything like this before. This is a scary time. Everybody's reacting in their own way. Let's all try to be respectful of each other and take care of what needs to be taken care of, and try not to spread this anymore that's necessary. I guess for this week's topic of the week, if you're having the extra time, what are you working on? Leave it in the comments down below, and take care of yourself. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you to my Patreon supporters for continuing to support this channel, and keep on keeping on.